Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live. Good to be with you this morning, and we really appreciate you guys coming on with us on a daily basis. It makes it much more fun when I know I'm not talking to myself. I do that a lot. Oh, good to have you guys. Thanks a lot, Mike from Norland. We appreciate you big time. Andrea, Niagara Falls. Betty Lynn from Brantford, good morning. Kevin, our friend from Oshawa. Madeleine from Kippawa. Steph, good morning. Bonjour. Jeanette, bon matin from our staff. Janice from Brampton. Laurie and Ryan, how are you guys? I miss you. Sylvia, Rhonda, I want to sing. Anne, good morning from Moncton, New Brunswick. Bobby from Kitchener. Laurie Lee, Ventura, California. Rosa, Montreal, bonjour. Carrie, Nebraska. Etta, good morning. Catherine from Springdale, Newfoundland. Kathy, good. And Kathy's birthday today. Well, happy birthday. Wendy, Markham, Chantal, Ottawa. Suzanne, good morning. Margie, Kansas. Pat, how are you? And Keith, good morning. How are you? And Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Wanda from Virginia, who says she got her book. Well, good for you. And I think that was Janet. Francis, good morning. Colette, bonjour. Darlene, South Carolina. Fran from Orangeville, how are you? Rosalinda, Niagara Falls, the kidneys of Canada. Jessica, Melanie, Petawawa. Mary, good morning. Okay, a couple of more. How is you guys? Australia, Mary, how is you? Diane, Sudbury, Jessica, Windsor. Veronica, good morning. Sherry, how are you? Carol, Caledonia. Beautiful. Anne, how is you? Happy birthday. Who was that? Whose birthday again? Dan. How is you? Linda, Pennsylvania, and it's very hot there. Cecilia, well, we're a little bit cooler here in Northern Ontario. Carol and Helen and Leslie. Couple more guys and we'll get going. Kelly, how are you? From London, Ontario. Bonnie from Manitoulin Island, God's country. Debbie from Corona. And you like my yellow shirt? It's Kathy's birthday. Well, how are you, Kathy? Carol, Annette, Nouveau Brunswick. Barbara, how is you? And Dave from Soggy, Mississauga. Anna Hamner. Rosalinda. I know, I can't tell you why I miss people. Tammy, North Bay, Janet. Everybody's wishing Kathy a happy birthday. Guys, if it's your birthday and you come on here, let us know. Cheryl, okay? Kathy said she's happy. Hey, you like my yellow shirt? Okay. This is my baseball shirt. Okay. Annette, how are you? Brahim, there you are, buddy. How is you? From Portland, Oregon. We appreciate you guys. Okay, let's get going. We're doing part two. Part two of, okay, what did we talk about yesterday? Okay, the accelerating, okay, I want to give you the title because it'll be a title on a podcast that'll come very shortly. And wait a minute, let me get it. Okay, just got to get to my notes here. And the young have become old. They're young, okay? They're young chronologically, age-wise, but they're old biologically. And we talked about that yesterday, and we really zeroed in on kidneys. how young people are getting kidney disease, getting kidney stones. And when that happens, I'm a why guy. So to recap yesterday, why? And we went into the number one cause happens to be food. And how biologically that ages. And now we have these diseases that used to be, frankly, diseases of old men in a lot of ways, okay? And, you know, guys, let me tell you something, okay? Just because I'm going to bring this up, but it's just, you know, old white men, okay? No, but somebody said that to me yesterday. Well, that's diseases of old white men. Yeah, kidney stones used to be, okay? Not anymore. But when I was in school, okay, in the days of Noah, when I was in school, okay, women and heart attacks was unheard of. Unheard of. I mean it. You look at any medical textbook that came out of the 1960s and the 1970s, they would say this: heart disease for women is extremely rare. It's an old man's disease, heart disease. Not anymore. Why? Not anymore. Okay? Now, young people are becoming old biologically quickly. And yesterday we talked about skyrocketing kidney stones and skyrocketing kidney disease in young people. That's scary. That's scary. Okay? And, okay, young people, an increase in strokes in their 20s. Again, guys, if you would take out any kind of medical literature even, unheard of, a stroke in young people, increase in heart disease in young women. And now, you know, heart disease in women was a post-menopausal thing. Okay? Post-menopausal. Then women became more susceptible to heart disease. But not until then. But that's all changed now. We're paying the price for our bad habits. Okay? We're paying the price of our bad habits. Okay? So I'm reading an article here that talks about all these things, and I think I have 8 or 9 things that have all gotten worse in the last 20 or 30 years. All of them have gotten worse, okay? So skyrocketing kidney disease, young people with an increase of strokes, young women with an increase in heart attacks. Young women. Unheard of. Cancer rates. Colorectal cancer in young people. Unheard of in my day. Okay? It's not my day anymore. Okay? You know what I'm saying? It's not good, guys. It's not good. Skyrocketing. This is what they're saying. Skyrocketing colorectal cancer rates. Guys, okay? Just by the way, if you talked to almost any physician, okay, just to show you their training, God bless them, but just to show you their training, if you asked 95% of physicians why there would be such a skyrocketing in colorectal cancer. I'm going to tell you what the answer is. We're eating too much red meat. I'm not kidding you. You can Google that if you want. But guys, that's not the answer, because the rate of red meat, the eating of red meat has gone down big time. It's down 300% in the last 30 years. People have got the memo about red meat, and it's too bad because it's not true. And you would think if the consumption of red meat brought colorectal cancer rates down. No. As the consumption of red meat went downwards, the increase in colorectal cancer went upwards. Guys, that's a fact. That's a fact. There's a war on red meat. Big time. Cows. Too bad. And people buy it. They think if you went again, just go out to the general population and do a survey. What's better for you? A steak or broccoli? Okay? Let's take the best of red meat and take the best of vegetables. I did this, by the way, on my radio show years ago. I said, we're going to do a survey this morning. I said, what do you think is the healthiest vegetable that you know? And the answer is, and they didn't even have to use a lifeline or call a friend. You know what the answer was? Broccoli. Okay? I got a grandson named Brock, and I call him Broccoli. Okay? No, it was broccoli. By far. Beat carrots, it beat whatever else was in the top 5, but it wasn't even close. Broccoli won. Okay? And I asked them, where would you put a piece of steak there, red meat? Right at the bottom. Because, well, it'll elevate your cholesterol. Steak, red meat is acidic. Gee, you don't know anything about pH. I was talking about my audience at the time. And I said, you learned that steak is acidic. I said, that's not true. It's not true at all. But you see, in their minds, in people's minds, and I don't blame the people. I don't blame people. But in their minds, they've been taught for years and years and years and years that vegetables and fruit are better for you than meat is. And you should see the young generation. They're indoctrinated. You go to school and they pump it. Guys, it's a religion. I hate to tell you, it's a religion. And what, okay, but let me bring this forward a little bit. And I called it yesterday duping. When you don't know the facts, it's just propaganda. When you don't understand nutrition, Okay, and guys, you know me. I'm going to tell you, you guys know. I'm reinforcing what you see in your own families, what you see in young people, what you see. I'm just reinforcing it, guys, because I know you know better. But we're in a minority. Don't ever kid yourself. We're in a minority. But that doesn't mean we're not right. But as the world, as the propaganda takes hold, and the consumption of red meat went downward, 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 downward. And you guys, you got to replace that. You know, this is, I used to tell this to my young patients. I said, okay, you're not going to eat red meat. I remember, and I heard it more than once, but I can still picture it in my mind. A young lady said to me in my office, Doc, I don't eat anything with eyeballs. If they have eyeballs, I don't eat it. And, you know, of course, it made me laugh. You know, I'd laugh if it wasn't so sad. If it wasn't so sad. I said, you mean you don't even eat fish? Nope. They got eyeballs. Yikes. And listen, if someone took the time and the energy to come and see me, I treated them with great respect. I really did. Because I love people. And I particularly love my patients. I did. And so I said, can I change your mind? In a very respectful way. Can I change your mind? Wasn't easy. Some I did. I said, you're on the broad road that leads to destruction. Your thinking will make you sick because you are devoid of certain vitamins, certain amino acids. You're not getting a complete nutrition profile. You're just not. You're not consuming it. So I said, if you insist, you must, the rest of your life, as long as you do it, you must replace vitamins, minerals, amino acids, and bioavailable protein that you're not going to get with your diet. I said, that's just science and true science. And you have to understand that. So what am I saying here, guys, at the end of the day? Make a long story short. The duping of North Americans especially, okay, has led to disaster. Kidney disease, unheard of unless you got old. Heart disease, unheard of in young people. Women getting heart attacks and strokes, unheard of in young women. Premenopausal, unheard of. Guys, I've been around a long time. Unheard of. Colorectal cancer was a cancer of old white men. Almost invariably it was. And here we are today. It is skyrocketing. And you know what? The world They don't even ask why. They don't even ask why. Because it goes against their agenda. It goes against the narrative. And listen to what I say that's involved in this narrative too. Big pharma and big food. And they buy and pay for politicians of all stripes. And the media, both social media and mainstream media, bought and paid for. And you and I are John the Baptist in the wilderness. Repent! We're John the Baptist in the wilderness. I understand that. It was easier in the 1980s to convince people to eat more protein, to eat more steak, and that broccoli wouldn't cut it. But today, very difficult. And again, I tell you with certainty about this, that most of my colleagues who have the same qualifications I have, they bought it too. They bought it. I said, yeah, I know what they taught us that, but that doesn't make it right. They taught us about cholesterol too. Don't you remember? I said, do you believe that? Oh, no, I don't believe that about cholesterol. I said, well, what about B12? What about B12? Where can you find B12? Red meat? Yeah. Uh-huh. You just answered the question. Like B12 isn't in the plant kingdom. I'm sorry. It's just not. And your body can't survive without B12. You're going to get sick. Big time. It doesn't happen overnight, but it's happening now rapidly. Why? Because like I said, when I call it eating in a vacuum, okay? What do I mean by that? You're eating in a vacuum. If you decide, and when I say you guys, you know what I mean. It ain't you, babe. Oh, I think that's a song. It's not you I'm talking about. It's the world out there, okay? When the world decides to emphasize the plant kingdom, here's what Dr. Martin has found. I used to see it in my office every day. They lower animal kingdom. They lower eggs, meat, and cheese. Okay? They lower it. But you know what goes up this way? Almost invariably. People that tell me, oh, I really eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. I live on that. You really? I said, no, you don't. I said, you just gave me a list of foods that you eat. You did this, okay? The animal kingdom comes here. And the plant kingdom went up, yes. But it's not only that. What you consider plants are grains. Grains. Oh, Dr. Martin, it's whole wheat. They're cereal eaters. They're wheat eaters. What's that mean? They're carboholics. almost without exception to that. I said, what you've done is you've taken the king of the castle, protein, and you've taken the dirty rascal, carbohydrates, and you brought them to the top of your pyramid, and your protein and your bioavailable protein and fat, animal fat, has sunk like the Titanic in your diet. Because you don't eat in a vacuum. I said, you're doing this. Yep, your protein and fat went down. Because you think fat's bad for you. Especially animal fat, saturated fat. You know how many times I heard that in my office? Saturated fat, Dr. Mark. Saturated fat, like it's like this here, okay? And I'm showing for my podcast this 1 pound of fat. And that's saturated fat. You can see it on the steak. That's saturated. I like chicken better than steak. Because chicken don't have saturated fat. I said, well, who told you that saturated fat is bad for you? My dietitian, my doctor, my teacher. I'm sorry. It's the best fat. Saturated is satisfied fat. It doesn't oxidize. I mean, when you look at butter, you might not see health. But when I look at butter, I see nothing but health. When you look at an egg yolk, okay? This is how I used to talk. When you look at an egg yolk, what do you see? You see fat. I see health. I see that yolk as nothing but vitamins and healthy fat. When you look at a piece of cheese, what do you see? Oh, I see fat. I said, yeah, but I see health. I see vitamin K2. And I see protein that is the best for you. I don't want you to get rid of the farmer. I said, I want you to be the farmer's best friend. Because you got all these diseases that you're going to pay a price for making a huge mistake in your diet. Guys, I'm doubling down on sun, steak, and steel. And you see the steak in the middle. I mean it. I mean it. Okay. Skyrocketing kidney disease, skyrocketing strokes, skyrocketing heart attacks in young women, colorectal cancer through the roof, the rates of diabetes. And by the way, all the other ones are related to diabetes. And as I tell you, and you guys could write a book about it, by the time someone is a diabetic, they hit the iceberg and they were on the Titanic for a long time. And they already hit the iceberg. The last thing to happen is the iceberg. Diabetic. The rates of diabetes through the roof. But again, remember, if people in their heart of hearts, if they lower their animal kingdom because they think it's bad for them, they will up their carbohydrates No exceptions. Listen, I just got to tell you, I never saw an exception to it. And I'm sure there are some, but I didn't see it in my office. Ever. And they didn't realize that when you don't get the protein and fat from the animal kingdom, and they make the plant kingdom their god, they're in deep doo-doo. And the statistics where young people are getting old people disease, we're paying a huge price. You know what, guys? To be honest, I feel sorry for the world. I do. I feel sorry for them. Okay? I have people that I love. You're not a prophet. You're not a prophet in your hometown. That's what Jesus said. Okay? You're not a prophet. And, you know, they didn't listen to him, and they don't listen to me either. And I go, well, I still love you. I do. But you're wrong. You're wrong. Guys, this might be a 3-part series because I didn't even tell you about some of the other stuff that's going on in young people. It's crazy. It's crazy. Okay. What's tomorrow? Question and Answer Friday, isn't it? Okay. Do we have fun on Question and Answer Fridays? Yep. Almost without exception, I would say. Right? Rapid fire and lots of fun. Your chance to ask questions. Okay? Now, guys, let me say this again. I'm going to repeat it, I'm sure. The Sun, Steak, and Steel and Sleep book. Fabulous. Did you get our email today about cortisol? Did you? If you didn't get that email, check your spam box. But if you didn't and you don't get our emails, we send them out about twice a week. Okay? Get the one today on cortisol. I actually should do a program on it because it's so good. It's so interesting. Okay? And it really comes from a book I wrote. Let me see if I even have a copy of it here. Years ago. 2 hormones that want you dead. Insulin and cortisol. Your 2 real master hormones. Okay? And I think we'll probably do another program on it, I'm sure. Okay. So guys, get your questions in. If you haven't got our new book, Sun, Steak, and Steel, I'm wondering why you don't. And they make great gifts, guys, for friends. Okay? Okay. Yeah, we love you. And we'll talk to you soon.